Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the Uninspired Inspiration, episode 6. And we're back. I got my guys with me, Ryon, Kofi. I'm G. This is interesting. If you know from the Choose to Inspire Not Destroy podcast, this was like the original cast, and now we're playing around and we're doing some things different. We're doing something together and we're sitting down, we're chopping it up, and it's a pleasure. It feels nice. It feels nostalgic. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
I'm good.
All is good.
Good.
Out here burning.
I see. You got the glow. You looking like Bruce Leroy. Oh, you was at Coachella yesterday, wasn't you? You had a good time?
No, I was supposed to be doing security. Ain't no good time.
Oh, all right. You was working. All
That's
right. Well, close enough.
Plus, I don't really enjoy things like that, so not really a club.
I will tell you, you will enjoy Nelly live.
Oh
That is
my God!
different.
Here we go.
Nelly live is
No. Do you like Nelly, Ryon? Keep
At
it
least
real.
that ain't changed. Nah, I remember him talking about Nelly from before. Talking about Nelly live.
Nelly live is crazy. No.
Yeah, I'm
This
never
guy's
going.
vouched for
No
Nelly.
disrespect to Nelly. In a club, when I was younger, Nelly was the man. You know, hot in here. If you in the spot, the shirt is immediately coming off. But now, I don't know if I'm trying to go to a concert to see Nelly.
He's back around. See, he doesn't do concerts. He does festivals.
You sure he's not
I
in
believe-
Vegas right now? Like everybody go to Vegas when they retire?
No. He's back up here in September. I was trying to get George to go to that before, but he didn't want to go.
Yeah, I'm not with it, man. I had a good time at the last event. It was cool. But I don't need to go
You didn't
to
come into the crowd or nothing, man.
Nah, he really. You know what's funny, Ryon? We drove 2 hours to go hang out with this dude, right? To go to this thing, and it was like the way they had it set up. The food truck area was on one side, and the concert was actually on a whole other side. I thought everything was gonna be together.
No. But you make it sound like it's so far apart. Literally, the food truck park was like this. And then Nelly was performing right here. So like there were
Wait, in New York
benches.
blocks. In New York blocks, what was the distance? Because I still can't.
It's hard to describe because it was shaped like an eyeball. Almost.
Yeah, but if you straightened it out, it might have been like 4 blocks, 3 blocks, a decent
So you
Flatbush
walk
blocks.
3 blocks to a food truck.
No, George could
Flatbush
stand on his
blocks.
table and see me at the stage with Nelly.
Nah, I couldn't see nothing on the other side. And he bounced. You know what's crazy? I thought he was gonna feel bad and be like, all right, we'll stay over here and just chill with y'all. He was like, oh, we're gonna go over there and watch the show, and then we'll be back when it's
All right,
over.
so hold on, time out. Did I not say to you before, I was like, yo, there's this Nelly concert going on. It's on Cecily's birthday. We're going to it. Do you guys want to go to the concert? And it's a food truck festival.
No. He said
He
it
a
was
big
a
Nelly
food
fan. He
truck
wanted to see
festival, and Nelly was performing. That was how he got us out there. Food truck festival, Nelly's performing, and it's Cecily's birthday. So I'm like, all right, we gonna come hang out with her and chill, you know? He
And
got there. We was there for 2 hours before they even showed up, for one.
So a couple of things about that. One, I've talked endlessly about the Nelly stan I am. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I remember that.
He has.
but then also I made sure you were good. I got you the cocoa pebble. I mean the fruity pebbles ice cream float. You had 2 crazy big sandwiches.
Nah. Hold on. He's trying to cover up the facts.
Yeah,
the
he
facts.
said that he made sure you was good. So you
No. First, this was when COVID was still COVID. You know what I'm saying? So we coming from Jersey, where at the time it was still masks everywhere. Like people were still wearing masks no matter where you went in Jersey. We get out there, and I probably could count on both hands the amount of people that got masks on. So you can imagine my surprise when it goes from, wait, oh, they don't do masks out here no more? And COVID is still going on? they had signs on the trash cans like, "Oh, masks are still required," and I was like, "Oh, this is like a joke or something," right? Because nobody got a mask on. People walking
But to
past us,
Kofi said he got you 2 big sandwiches to compensate for the no mask.
bruh.
So if
That
you
was
caught COVID, you had all the sugar
too.
and big
Yeah,
sandwiches.
you had all the sugar you needed
Yeah,
to
I was
battle.
so mad. I couldn't stop complaining to my wife because he kept saying, "Oh, we'll be there soon. We'll be there soon." So we trying to save the seats so nobody don't sit next to us because don't nobody got masks on, and we're like, "Oh, we got somebody sitting here. Somebody sitting here." 2 hours later, he shows up. He's like, "Oh, do you want something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I take some churros from this truck he was going to." Yeah, this dude brings me back a Sunday, a churro Sunday with caramel all over it. I don't like caramel, and I didn't want a Sunday. I'm like, damn, bro. And I was gonna eat it, but his wife was like, "Yo, don't eat it. You ain't asked for that." She gave me the strength and the confidence. I was like, "Why he brought me this? I didn't want this." She was like, "Don't eat it."
That's only when they were selling the churros.
No, don't eat it. Then.
Kofi was trying to settle that guilt. He was like,
He
"Yeah,
was.
we showed up 2
He
hours.
was.
He put some like
Yeah, he got me some steak fries. The steak fries made me not so mad anymore. The steak fries is what did it for
another
me.
festival this year if you want to go.
Yeah,
I'm going to the concert if Nelly is performing. I'm letting you know that right now.
I
I would be more than happy for you to come and hang out, and hopefully you'll participate in the concert also because Nelly is amazing. But if
I
Nelly's
don't think I've ever
performing,
met a Nelly stand like this.
the food is delicious, but Nelly is performing.
Yeah, I know it was real when he really bounced. He really was like, "All right, we going over there." When we come back, we gonna go back to my place. I was telling my wife, I was like, "Yo, we not going back to their house. We out. We leaving." She kept being like, "Babe, we drove all this way. Let's just have a good time. We spending time. We enjoying ourselves. We don't got the kids." I was like, "All right," but I was glad we went back to their place though, because we ended up having a really nice weekend. So, I give them some slack for that. It was the beginning of a beautiful thing.
I mean, listen. They do the Stanford Food Festival every year. We should go, but we should plan on actually seeing the concert, man. Because you already pay for that in the ticket. Normal days, the ticket is half the price.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say
and we
no.
know
Listen.
now we get the steak and fries in the morning, we get the sundaes in the afternoon, and then we go to the concert.
Yeah, no caramel on my Sunday, bro. If you give somebody a Sunday, is that poor etiquette? You should ask somebody what they want on their Sunday before you just.
You said you wanted a churro.
Sunday.
That's all they had for churro. They were like, churro Sunday. That's all we do. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, all right.
I've never met anybody that doesn't like caramel. I've legit never met anybody, especially on ice cream. I don't know anybody besides you that doesn't like caramel on ice cream.
I didn't even want no ice cream. No. Yeah, but that's like saying, "Here, eat this," when somebody asks you for something. Like if I just want churros, why would I want churros and in a Sunday at that? I was like, "Yo, what's all this extra stuff, man? I just wanted the churros. That's it." Even my wife tried to play me
being 2 hours late.
So here's what you're gonna do: you're gonna pick the churro pieces out, sucked off the ice cream, and then ride off the churro.
That sounds crazy. Later. That sounds crazy.
Yeah,
George would have been in there sucking on the churro.
Yeah. Never. Yeah. Never.
No, that sounds crazy.
Hell no. Get out of here. That's funny. All right, so I got a good one for y'all, man, because I feel like, we're a little late to talk about it, but it's never too late. Let's talk about the slap scene around the world, man. But I don't want to just talk about the actual act. I want to know if y'all think it's a deeper meaning to it. Is it a mental health thing? Is it a toxic relationship thing? Is it just, being under some pressure? Ryon is the red question mark right now. It didn't take him long. Welcome back.
That's a mental health issue.
Yeah, we going to give him a little bit of slack because it's been a while. So, Kof, what you think, bruh?
First of all, I'd beat the donkey shit out of him on stage. There's no fucking way. Zero chance he's getting off. There's zero chance he's smacking me and turning his back on me. Zero. That's not even happening. But outside of that, listen, his relationship is only toxic because he wants it to be. Because it's not even like he's coming from a position where he's dependent upon her money or her stardom or her fame. He made her career. Because when you really break it down, before they met, her acting career was not happening. Right?
Yeah.
And this was around the time she was dating Tupac. So, listen, his relationship is toxic because he allows it to be toxic. I can picture myself in that relationship, and I have a very, very, very slick tongue, but I try not to let it come out, because as much as she's been giving it over the last 3 years, I'd be firing right back. I'd be like, "Oh, where's your dead boyfriend?" I'd be going, like, it would be bad. It would be bad in the household if I chose to stay around, but I wouldn't stay around. Like, as soon as my daughter would have written a letter to the ghost of my wife, like the ghost, the boyfriend that she dated for a week, my daughter is writing letters. She's never met this man. He's been dead for like 50 years now. Like, you got to be kidding me. That relationship would have been over immediately.
You don't think like just the love side of it plays a part at all?
Maybe I don't love somebody that much, George. Honestly, I'm you like I and you know my personal situation with, family and all of that, like internally in my family. So I don't think I love somebody that much to just. You kidding me? Nah. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. As a matter of fact, man, he's very lucky that he's not sarcastic like I am, because I would have kept laughing at the joke, and if she'd have got mad and gave me the Winter Soldier code to like get up and like go crazy, I'd have been like, no. You remember when you had Willow write that letter to your boyfriend that was dead for like 37 years? Yeah, I'd have laughed even harder. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe his hologram will come and defend you from Coachella.
Hey, sorry.
Like,
Did you guys get my text?
Yeah, I saw it.
Right when you did the introduction,
we giving you a little breathing room because this is just the first one. So
how fucking hot is it there?
He wasn't joking when he said he was baking.
Yo, I've never seen that message come up.
Exactly. I told you I had to move.
Your phone, that California sun, your phone was about to explode.
I told you I was not joking.
I thought he was exaggerating. It's like, yo, it's not that hot out.
So
your phone was like,
I relocated. My bad for like
you are going
pausing the show, but I had to, man. I had to relocate.
Yeah.
I put there's a refrigerator out here. I had to put my phone in the refrigerator to cool it down really quick to like send it back. I kid you not.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm catching a tan as we. You see this? You see this?
Yeah, that do look crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
All right, so you had a legitimate reason this time. All right, well, yo, Kofi feel like is he got no mercy for this dude, Ryon.
So I'm in between. I'm in between. Meaning, like, I think it's a mental health issue. I have no mercy for Jada. I have no mercy for Will, because you also got to own up to certain things, right? But I got to break it down, right? I got to break it down. Let me put out this disclaimer. I can only speak on what we know from the media and whatnot, because we're not part of this dude's life, right? The slap, I don't agree with it at all. I think I already told you guys, comedian got a job to do. If you ever sit in the front row, ever since like from Def Comedy Jam and all that stuff, you get roasted. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't agree with the slap. I do agree that it's a mental health issue, right? Because if this was on the flip side and a female was going through this, it would have been plastered all over. Look at how her boyfriend is mentally treating her. That note that Kofi mentioned, do you know how devastating that would be to my mental to see my kid right into a dead dude? talking about, yo, can make my mom happy. All the stuff that Jada put him through, that would mentally tarnish you. That would mentally break you down to the point where the slap may have to happen now, or may have to the point where the slap happened. It could have been worse. It could have been like Will go off the deep end, and next thing you know, Jada is floating somewhere. However, I put it on him, meaning like you have to know when somebody's toxic. Like out of all this stuff, Will still continues to say, I'm gonna stand by. I'm gonna do this. He wants this family, and I get it, but you got to know when to let go, bro. So I agree with Kofi. I put it on him as well, but I also treat it as a mental issue where I still feel some kind of sympathy for Will in the sense where he's fighting for something that's disgusting, and that's it. This woman is disgusting to me. Everyone keeps saying, yo, what it will do, what it will do. We haven't heard shit about what if Will did something, it would have came out already.
So it can't just be poor judgment at all. You don't feel like just being overwhelmed and making a bad decision at that moment could be a reason also.
It happens, but it still doesn't. It still doesn't. It happens, but it still doesn't discard. Like, say if you made a poor judgment at your job, you started spazzing at your boss, right? You made a poor judgment. Your boss could have been on you like crazy. It happens, but it still doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? You still don't get away with it. You still get repercussions. You still get penalties.
Bro, she activated him like Baron Zemo activated the Winter Soldier in the Winter Soldier. Like, he was laughing. She said, Boxcar, Foxtrot, Thunderbird 7. And he got up and went up on stage, bro. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. He should have left her a long time ago. Who knows what other assassinations allegedly he's done when she activates him at night? Like, he's probably out here murdering people. Allegedly.
I agree.
I'm telling you, she Baron Zemo'd him. She has a little book with code words that activate this crazy side of him, and he just doesn't.
So let me ask you a question. You don't think that's mental health? That's a mental health problem.
Yeah. I think he likes it. I think it's some weird game that they play. I think he likes it. I really do.
Nah, man.
3 years. Nope, 3 years. 3 years of that. You like it. You like it. And that's cool. Like, everybody has their thing. Some people like to get beat with whips and chains and hung upside down, nipple clamps and all that. Like, that's their thing. And some people like to be publicly humiliated.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why when it's a man, he likes it and it's his fault for dealing with it. But if it's a woman, it's like, it's tough for her to just get away from him because she loves him.
Here's why I'm saying that in this situation. Number one,
before you go, Kofi, to add on to that, I don't think he likes it because you see the video where he's crying. You see the video where he asked Jada not to record him. You see all that stuff.
I did see that.
Huh?
But he's still there. He likes it, man. I'm telling you.
He's still there because he wants to be part of the family. To add on to what George thing, why doesn't he just? It's hard for somebody to let go. Or
his family doesn't like him. His son doesn't like him. His daughter doesn't like him.
Nah.
I would say his daughter. I would say his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter's out of control. She's out of order.
Trey, and Jaden.
Trey? He has a son named Trey?
Yeah, the firstborn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has 3 kids.
Exactly. Was the firstborn by Jada?
No.
Exactly. Right? So, that one gets no spotlight because it's not a part of Jada's world.
He's everywhere. Every picture that he takes, he's with him.
I've never seen Trey. Ever.
Nah. So you just not tuned in then.
Are you talking about the kid from the new Fresh Prince? Is that Trey?
No.
Nah. I've seen that kid more than this alleged Trey. Are you guys sure Trey exists? Is this
positive.
Mandela moment? Right? Where it's like...
That's his firstborn. Trey is his firstborn. He always gives a shout out to Trey. He goes to every red carpet. You see Trey next to him. The media probably focuses on Jaden and Willow because they're also trying to do entertainment stuff. But I think Trey is just a DJ. He just wants to do DJ. So that's probably why you don't see him in the spotlight. He stays out of all the bullshit.
So the reason I say it's mainly his fault now is because for 3 years you've sat there and you have allowed her to say whatever, however. And when I say that, people are going to look at me like, oh, what do you want to do? Strangle her? No, just bounce. Because you're not in a power dynamic situation where you're dependent on her for anything, right? Like, you made her career. You are the Jay-Z of the dynasty. Bounce.
So let me ask you a question: do you give the same empathy towards female, just like what George said? If this was a flip situation,
No,
women are always given the whole thing
if
where
the power
hey, it's
dynamic
hard to
stayed the
bounce.
same, if the power dynamic stayed the same, and she made his career, and she was unhappy with the things that he was doing, fucking bounce,
No,
bounce.
meaning
Are you?
get away from the power dynamics. Think because you're thinking financial and power dynamics. Let's think only within family realm. Like say if somebody's
Bruh,
fighting for
his family
family, right?
doesn't love
And then
him.
flip it.
His family doesn't
Nah,
love him.
nah.
Like, they
Yeah, you
don't
can't
love
say
him.
that. You can't say
They,
that. I've never heard
bruh,
anything
they
like that
don't love him.
ever.
His daughter is writing pseudo love letters
That's
to
not his
her
whole
mother's
family though.
ex-boyfriend,
Nah.
who she dated for a week, who's been dead for, how old am I? 37. He's been dead for like 25 years.
I
Like,
also think
his
that's a form of
family doesn't. Do you
mental
know what
health.
I would
Like
have done? I would have looked at that letter, because I'm sure he probably found out about it when it was released to the press, and I would have been like, I'd have made dinner that night and be like, I'm sorry, I'm only making dinner for people that actually give a fuck about me. So it looks like I'm eating for one tonight.
you know
Like,
what?
are you kidding me?
You know what? You say that now, but
I'm
wait till
dead serious.
wait till your kid grows up, right? And you're gonna realize, nah, the mom brainwashed
Rion,
her.
you
I
don't
would never
understand.
give up
I
on
have
Willow
the
like that. I would.
capacity to cut people off. I don't care.
You say that now. You say that now. You say that now. How old is your son, daughter?
Daughter, I don't want to bring her up. I have the capacity to cut people off.
Give some more years. Give some more years,
No,
because I
Rion,
bet you won't say that.
I've cut family off completely.
Me too.
I
Me
don't
too.
have a problem. Cool, you're gonna make my life hard, and this is getting ridiculous. And I made everyone's career in this house. Hell no. Nope. I'm done. Goodbye. Go be off on your own. Cool. You want half? Take half. Oh, you don't need it? Cool. Go do your failed rock band thing that you tried to do. Do you want me to keep going? Like, go and try and act and be on like a
I think
different
you got to
world.
give
Oh
some
wait, it's
time.
canceled.
I don't.
Like,
I,
I don't understand. Like, he is predominantly to blame now, because he is actually staying there. And that's cool. Listen, I understand. Like, I understand people have, all types of preferences, especially when it comes to sexual, like, turn-ons, right? I watched a show called Billions, right? If you've ever seen it, you realize
yeah, I
that
watched
Chuck
it.
Rhodes, the district attorney for the New York district, he is very by the book. He's going after every billionaire. But guess what? His wife works for the guy that he hates as like some pseudo HR psychiatrist, and he is really into S&M, to the point where, like, every other night he goes to a S&M like dominatrix to hang him upside down, to step on his testicle. Like, I get all of that, and like, I understand. I can identify, like, this is a turn on for the two of them. Just like,
No,
how
I
many
can't.
people? No, no, no. Real question: how many people did we grow up with where we saw them in relationships and they were constantly arguing, and then you would ask them, "Well, you guys argued so much. I said that you're going to break up." Oh no, we made up. We had makeup. Like, some people are into that, like, fighting and then having like what they think is this passionate like thing, and it works for some of them. I think this is just a more on display version of that. Like,
Nah.
I think
I
there's some
agree
things
with you.
that she does that pisses him off, right? And vice versa. But at the end of the day, they can throw all of that away because that's fuel they use to be intimate with each other.
Nah, I disagree. I think this is rooting more so into family and not some weird sexual desire. I think this is more so Will's attachment to having this conducive home.
His son is 18.
recommend-
Willow doesn't love him. What is the reason for sticking
Still
around?
wants it. You could disconnect like that. He can't. He's been
His
preaching
family
this
doesn't
forever.
even live at home anymore.
But you could disconnect like that. He can't.
Okay.
I
feel sorry for him. She's going to be the death of him. He's either going to have an aneurysm or he's going to go to spend the wrong person, and they're going to beat the donkey shit out of him.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So it's a toxic relationship then.
Right. Because he allows it to be at this point. If this were the beginning of the 3 years when she started coming out, like, Do I blame him for going to the red table talk? And she is like, by the way, I want to talk about the young boy I've been sleeping with that had mental health issues that I took advantage of, allegedly. I don't blame him in that situation. I'm like, man, that's pretty fucked up. But then you stayed through that. You stayed through her coming out and saying all this other stuff. After a while, it's your fault for staying. She's not physically beating you that we can see, right? And if she was, you should take a page out of Johnny Depp, right? Like he had been recording the whole thing for the last like 7 years.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
So like that's why
His
I'm
thing
like,
sounds
you kind of you like the situation you're in because your kids are your adult children are adults. You just share the house with that person that doesn't like you.
I agree with you halfway, right? But I don't agree. I agree with whatever happens from here on, it's his fault. Meaning like it's blatantly out there, you need to disconnect. Right? But in reference to like the reason why he's still there, I think it's more so based on family.
So that it wasn't that here on starts now, not when she was like, Will hasn't satisfied me in 15 years sexually. Like that wasn't
I mean,
the bounce.
You got like, everybody
has recorded him and he was like, my social media is bread and butter. Can you stop recording me? And she was like, nah, fuck your feelings. I'm gonna keep recording you. That
everybody
wasn't
everybody has their limits. My limit would have been the whole probably the entanglement. Probably that my limit would have been that. But everybody has their limits.
Right. Everybody has their limits, but just because you have your own limits doesn't mean that it stops being the aggressor's fault and the person that chooses to stay's fault. Right? Just because you have your limit doesn't mean that like, oh, when you're at your limit, we all know there's like this psychic connection that goes off and it's like, all right, he's at his limit, so it's no longer his fault. It's, or vice versa. It is now his fault moving forward. Like, no, bruh. Like the standard was as soon as she was being incredibly disrespectful and getting the kids to jump in on that, bruh. It's time to go. And if you choose to stay, then that's your fault.
You said. Once I meet my limit, I am now at fault. Before I was willing to take all that. Meaning I was willing to disregard.
But so then with that, when you say I was willing to take all of that, that means
that's technically your fault. Anything before that is his fault. I agree. Now
no, but I want to take your statement. You said, but before I was willing to take all that. But you're admitting that was within your control. So therefore,
I was willing.
You could have bounced a long time ago. Am I?
Yeah,
George, am I making sense?
Kofi,
it's not that easy. I don't think it's that easy.
I'm saying if I was willing, meaning like I have a limit. This might not even be his limit.
Right. What I'm saying is when you take that statement,
he might stick around after.
When you take that statement and you say, I was willing to take all of that before, that right there is an admission that you had the power to end it all. So therefore, I don't have any.
You always have the power.
Oh, exactly. Thank you.
So let me ask you a question.
She's not that. What was the dude in Ohio that had all those girls chained up in the basement? Right? She did. You're not. She's not R. Kellying you. You're not tied to the bed during like house parties and like knocking on the wall. To get
he's
food.
passionate. He's passionate about this one. Kofi, move your thing back because every time you move forward, it's just like half of the top of your head is off.
She's not pulling an R. Kelly. He's not trapped. So, like, it's always.
So let me ask you a question. When you hear these stories about women in the same situation as Will, take away the financial thing because I don't want you to bring up the financial thing.
The financial piece is one of the most important pieces because if you tell somebody you need to leave and uproot your life and you've never worked a day in your life and you've been dependent on this other person,
you can't say the financial thing is the most important thing. Because there's people that love people without financials. You can't say it. He could just be looking for a
Ryon, but you're missing the point. You can't say get rid of the financials because if the husband is physically abusive to the wife and she's never worked a day in her life and she depends on him to manage finances, provide money, provide food, she's going to think twice about leaving because that's a new world to her that she's never experienced and doesn't know how to operate it.
You're giving. So let's bring it to like one of these individuals where it's one of those two family households. They both bring in incomes. There's still abuse that goes on. I visited those persons,
and you should bounce,
right?
But unless you're physically being restrained, unless you're Johnny Depp and you're trying to leave, and she's like, "Ow, why did you push me down the stairs?" right?
Wait,
Like,
give me a second. So without the financial thing, if they're equal, you're saying it's the same responsibility for women.
yes, unless you're physically being restrained, you should leave. If you're uncomfortable with the situation, then you should bounce.
Me
Simple.
personally, I
And
don't
if
think it's
you're
that
not
easy when you
uncomfortable with
attach
it, and
family and
I'm
love.
viewing it and I'm like, man, this shit sucks, their blame can't be blamed on anybody else but you because you chose to stay there. You chose to stay there. Again, unless you're allegedly in an Amber Heard situation where you try and leave and she's like, ow, why'd you punch me in the face and push me down the stairs? And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't even move close to you. Like, there's no reason why you can't leave.
Give people a brief backstory. Do you know about the Amber Heard story with Johnny Depp? And
I've heard a bunch of shit. I've been watching like the crazy deposition. He lost his career pretty much. Like, nobody wants to mess with him because she said wild shit. The videos have been nuts. But again, he was with her for how long? He was with her for how long? I blame him also because as soon as you saw the first time she would have faked you touching her, I would have been like, I'm out of this. Are you kidding me? I'm Johnny Depp. I'm out of here.
The thing is, he did do that. He did do that, but she threatened him. She threatened to lie, and then he taped all of that. And then when he finally pulled the trigger, she went to the media, did all this extra stuff, and the media took her word for it. And it's not until now where they're actually having the whole court thing where all these tapes are coming out. She took a shit on this dude's bed. She put out a cigarette on his face. She punched him and said, "Hey, who do you think they're gonna believe?" So.
Right. But let me ask you, do you think that's the first time she did that to him?
Hell no, he recorded it.
Okay, then, so why didn't he leave the first time?
Because the first time, right, when it happened, he probably took that into fruition. Like, I mean, he probably took that into note where the media is not going to believe him, which is right. A lot of time, people don't believe men that they're being abused, and I've seen the statistics. It's pretty equal, you know.
If he felt that way, all he had to do was leave, and then when the media asked him why, like, hey, things just didn't work out. That's all. Nah. That's it.
No.
Yeah, everything you're saying, Kofi, is based in logic, but it goes against reality, right? Like, would domestic violence really be a thing if it was that simple? If every time somebody was in a situation in a relationship, they just left because it made them uncomfortable? Like, the whole world is going through this. More people stay than people that actually leave. That choice is just not that simple to me.
But George, that's my point. That's why I'm saying you can't say throw the money piece out of it, because that's a major factor in a lot of those situations why the abused stay and why the abuser feels like they have the carte blanche to do what they want. I run the house. I am the lion's share of this. You want to bounce and not take what I have to give you? Then go ahead. You go and find somebody else that can provide all of this for you.
Well,
right?
Not all the time. Hostage. Yeah, I've been in that relationship that you was talking about where it's so crazy and dysfunctional, and then you end up being physical and thinking that you made up. As a kid, sometimes you just so caught up in your emotions that you don't even really process what's going on the right way. Sometimes the dysfunctional actually seems like it's functional to you when you're experiencing it. You're not really thinking rationally. I think that's why love is so crazy. And you hear about all of these passion crimes and where somebody killed somebody and it'd be like, oh, they temporarily went insane because you just can't control that shit. It just puts you in a completely different space to where you're not thinking the way you should be thinking. I don't think everybody is as strong-willed as you are or as you say they just should be, to just be able to walk away and be okay with leaving. I mean, I know you cold as ice, bruh. I know, but let me ask y'all this.
I'm not risking my freedom over love. Like, that shit is like,
I wouldn't expect you to.
Wow, you violated my family. That's a different story. But like, I understand what you're saying about, you know, crime of passion. I'm not. Nah, I'm sorry. Okay. I got mad because you were cheating, so I killed both of y'all. Like, and now I have to go to jail. So like, nah. Like, all right, cool. Like, go ahead.
I get it. But all right, so everybody agrees that the slap was wrong. He was out of order for the slap, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But now let me ask y'all this: y'all see what happened with Mike Tyson on that plane, to where
Mike Tyson's 100% right about that. 100%.
Okay, so
100%.
he beat up a passenger because the passenger was being annoying and mocking him and whatever he was doing.
So
What's the
right, and the
difference?
passenger was also leaning over on some of the video, leaning over Mike's chair, and like encroaching in Mike's space.
But it
Right,
was
it was
no
on part
physical
of it.
contact though. It was no.
Right. But Mike's back was to him, and the passenger was leaning over him and heckling or doing whatever. And I'm pretty sure, like from the obviously the passenger looked like they were drinking, right? Because I think they had a
Yeah, they
glass
said
in
he
it.
was
But you can
intoxicated.
tell from the body language when somebody doesn't want to be bothered with you, right? Mike didn't even turn around to acknowledge him. Mike was just sitting there, kind of like, "All right, yeah, right." So like, you're also leaning over into his space. Now, I don't blame Mike for putting his hands on him because there's also the video cuts to just Mike putting his hands on him. So who knows what happened between when he was leaning over Mike's chair and then when Mike, the dude sitting next to the passenger, was like, Mike, all right, that's enough.
So my take is I got to give this. I got to take it from a logical standpoint. You already know why, right? So from a logical standpoint and law standpoint, Mike was wrong because words doesn't account to violence, right? In reference to Will Smith thing, that's a professional environment. Words don't account to violence. So same thing with Mike. Words don't account to violence. So once you put your hand on someone, instead of asking them to move or relocate it or solve something outside of it, it becomes Mike's in fault. Mike's in fault. Now,
Sure, based on the video, I agree with you. I want to see where's the video between when he was leaning over Mike with his cup and saying stuff to him to when it cut to the dude sitting next to the guy, like, all right, Mike, that's enough, and Mike is wailing on him. Because I doubt highly that it went from him leaning over to Mike just turning around punching him. Because if that were the case, the video would the next clip would have started with Mike punching the glass out of the guy's hand, the guy falling in his seat, and then Mike wailing on him. But instead, it picks up with Mike standing over him.
Yeah, it's missing a portion, right? But at the same time, I could also account for the emotional side of me outside of work and outside of whatever the logical explanation I'm supposed to give. If somebody's constantly berating me like that and behind me in my head, I'd probably turn around and snap too and beat the hell out of somebody. You're invading my space. I'm completely ignoring you. So I get where Mike was coming from, but from a law standpoint or standpoint, words don't account to violence.
Here's the tricky part to that, right? So Mike's back is to him, right? So Mike's defense is down. Who's to say in that missing chunk of the video, the dude wasn't like, Mike, I'll fucking kill you. Mike's back is to the guy. Now you have to take the guy seriously, right?
Well, then Mike, that would mean Mike would have to word that. And Mike would have to word that, say, hey, this is it. And then it becomes one of those things where your word against mine, right?
Well, what if Mike feared for his life because this guy was belligerent and was threatening to kill him?
Yeah, but he's Mike Tyson. He can't get another seat on the plane.
But if the guy's threatening to kill you and your back is done and the stewardess is nowhere near, you don't know what this guy is about to do. You don't know what.
We're working off of assumptions now. What you're doing now is working off of assumptions.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I'm saying I can't blame Mike for his reaction yet because there's a chunk of the video that's missing.
But
clearly, I think we all agree.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
There's no way from Mike sitting to Mike standing over this guy pummeling him.
But let me ask you a question. You're law enforcement. Let's put yourself in law enforcement, right? You're law enforcement. You have this video, and then you have what Mike told you, and then all of a sudden, you also have very factual witnesses around there. So let's say the video don't cut off. We also don't have the portion of what the witness statements may have been because there was a lot of them. There was the Asian guy that was trying to hold back Mike. Where we see him trying to hold back Mike and the guy's down. So we got his statement.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that dude wasn't Asian, but okay.
Yeah.
Somebody was just called. What happened?
What'd you say?
Somebody.
He said the dude wasn't Asian. He don't think the guy holding Mike back was Asian. I don't know.
I'm just assuming because I thought he was Asian from the video for profile. So you have the other dude that was trying to hold him back. You have statements, and with that you form a collective thing of what possibly could have happened with Mike's statement and what else. But we also don't have a lawsuit that came out of it yet. We also don't have anything, so it might have.
The guy declined pressing charges. One, because he got the donkey shit beat out of him, but then two, on the missing chunk of video, he probably realized I looked like a jackass, and I probably said something I shouldn't have that required Mike to get defensive and beat the fuck out of me. Beat me
there's
so
other
bad that
statements.
I'm back in my chair where I should have been the entire time.
I get it. My
Right.
thing is, when I watch the video, cause I read the comments or whatever, so I'm looking at the comments and people are like, yeah, Mike did what he was supposed to. Yeah, people need to understand they can't just say whatever they want to say. Yeah, this and that in support of it. And my thing is just, if you can understand where Mike is coming from with doing that, why can't we understand where Will Smith was coming from in his actions? It's the
I'll
same
tell you
thing.
why. And listen, based on just the video, what we have, obviously Mike putting his hands on somebody else is wrong, and right, he shouldn't have done that. What I'm saying is, there's enough doubt with the way the video was cut and the guy not wanting to press charges that leads me to believe that he fucked up and realized it, and Mike could have been right. So in the court of law, if you can give the benefit of the doubt or prove doubt, then technically the prosecution has no case. So Mike could have been acting in self-defense in some way, shape, or form, right? And it also depends on the state they were in, because that idea of
It was
self-defense
California.
is a wide range, right? The Will Smith situation,
I think he was leaving San Francisco or something like that.
Probably. He was the aggressor. And Will Smith was the aggressor in the situation. That would be like, if you want to flip it around in the Mike Tyson situation, that'd be like if the dude was the aggressor to Mike Tyson and walked up to Mike and started punching him, right?
Then that's self-defense.
Right. So what I'm saying is the difference between the two situations, and again, Mike was wrong for putting his hand on him based on the video that we have, but if there's actual other video, especially video that stopped this guy from wanting to press charges and all of that, then, and it proves that Mike felt threatened for his life with his back to some crazy drunk guy that clearly knows it's Mike Tyson, who's a trained killer, and I shouldn't say trained killer, but his hands are a registered weapon, and still, like, how crazy do you have to be to still antagonize somebody that could literally kill you with their hands? Like, they have to register their hands with the authorities, right? That's what you have to do when you become a boxer and you're certified, right? So how fucking crazy do you have to be to continue to antagonize this person versus a situation where the dude cracked a joke and your wife didn't like it, so you become the aggressor and get up on stage and smack him? Like, I think it's two different situations. And again, Mike was wrong for touching the guy based on all the video that is out right now. The same way Will Smith was. But there's a reason why this guy isn't pressing charges. And there's a reason why when the guy that was recording the video was talking to him afterwards.
What if the reason that he can't press charges? I mean, that's why I said there's other portions that we don't know. There's other witness statements that may out. What if the reason is that it's not that he's not pressing charges, that he can't? He doesn't have the right to.
What do you mean?
He might have tapped Mike on the head. Portion of the video we didn't see.
But that's the point that I'm making. It's a completely different scenario than the Chris Rock and Will Smith. And I'm circling back to the fact that there's stuff missing. And if you want to play detective, you look and say, well, why isn't this guy pressing charges? What's missing is the next question. What are we missing from the story that's stopping this guy from pressing charges? So it's very hard for me to rush to assumption and say Mike was completely wrong for that, because we don't know what happened, and there's a reason why this guy isn't pressing charges.
No,
and it doesn't look like, right?
I agree with that. 100%.
That's fair.
I think
that's fair.
And
that's fair.
Deserves to lose all of his accolades and not participate in the academy. And that's him.
Who, Will?
Yeah, easy.
I don't think he deserves to lose. That's another topic. Like, I get not participating in the academy and losing that, but losing all his jobs, like, how the fuck do you lose Bad Boys? Like, the movie is literally about shooting, slapping people, and killing people. How do you lose something to that? It wasn't like he was a Disney representative.
Because you become a liability to the company, right? So, like, you're out here getting handsy with people. What if during the press junket somebody asks you a question that you don't like?
Martin opened up shots in the middle of a freeway.
Wait, no. Let me finish.
His co-worker opened up shots in the middle of the freeway. You forgot that?
Let me finish. So you're out here doing press for each one of the movies, like all of the major movie stars go on, right? They go on press tour for 3 months before the movie comes out, and a reporter asks you a question you don't like. Now you're a liability. The studio can't trust that while on their time, you're not going to go out here and DDT one of these reporters because you don't like the question they asked you, or you're having a bad day. I think you know how much of an insurance liability he is? Because not only could that reporter sue him personally, but they can also sue the movie studio because they're participating in a business arrangement on behalf of the movie studio to promote their movie. He's become a liability with his temper.
I don't think so. I think the reason why it's happening to him like that now is because the times that we're in right now. We're cancel culture, which is a whole other topic.
I hate to be rude, but it's not about what you think. It's about, at the end of the day, the bottom line. And insurance is going to be even more expensive.
I'm going to give you the same thing.
Either way, it's extreme. Like he hasn't had a bunch of these incidents for them to act like he's this big liability. He's not known for this. For them to act like, oh, we can't trust him.
Mind you, his coworker Martin Lawrence had an incident where he stops in the middle of the freeway and open up shots. So he's not a liability that he might have a nervous breakdown.
And didn't they stopped fucking with Martin Lawrence for a very long time?
He didn't lose Bad Boys. He didn't lose any of the stuff. They actually went on to make another Bad Boys.
You're bringing up an incident that happened years ago, and after that, they stopped fucking with Martin Lawrence for a very long time.
No, they did not. Martin Lawrence
Will brought him back.
They didn't stop messing with Martin Lawrence.
Yes, they did.
I don't know. We'll have to go and do some research for that because I want to know the time, huh? Yeah, to actually know like if they actually stopped, they have to.
When did he do this? Right after Blue Streak, right?
I don't know the timeline. That's why I said I have to do some research for that. But
I bet you Imagine
still making money.
All of his movies and all of his acting roles.
I think it's due to what we're in now. Every little thing that you do now has become a reason to get canceled because everybody just trying to be like, you don't want to.
Bro, because you don't want to. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't have given him the award that night. They wouldn't have given him the award that night.
Hold up. Wait. Hold up. All right. Yo, listen. They gonna have to tune in for part 2. If you like this combo, if you feel like we on to something, I got my boys back together a little bit. We playing around. The Uninspired Inspiration. Peace.
Yo, choose to inspire, not destroy.